Welcome to For the Record Open Mic. I'm Carlo Sabucco from Sills Complete Auto Care Center. I'm going to share my thoughts on flat rate and pay. Before we get going, here are important messages from our partners.
ShopBoss is software built by shop owners for shop owners. ShopBoss offers real solutions backed by real experience. Simply put, it's shop management software that works your way. When customers are in the lobby and cars are on the lift, you don't have time for a learning curve. Now that's where ShopBoss comes in with profit-boosting features that work the way you need them to right out of the box. From built-in DVI to robust customizable reporting, ShopBoss makes everything about running a shop work more smoothly. Plus, with their Boss Pay payments feature powered by 360 Payments, you can enter the era of totally paperless payments. From text-to-pay, remote payments, and consumer financing options to compliant surcharging, and now even offering PayPal and Venmo options, everything is built right into ShopBoss. Plus, everything is backed by a fantastic support team with one goal in mind: your success. Be the boss with ShopBoss.
Basically, this For the Rant is a discussion on flat rate pay systems. And I'm talking about the true flat rate. So it's book time times the wage that we're paying the technician. I take this to heart. I believe this is a problem within our industry. It was created within the dealer realm, that pay structure. And I think it maybe worked many years ago when you were working on the same make, same model. It worked when we were working on primarily domestic vehicles or not such a depth or breadth of types of vehicles on the market. But I'm finding this as being a challenge from a number of different ways as it being an owner. One, the next generation of technicians coming up within our industry, we're saying you got to cut your teeth and be on a flat rate pay because, that's how we're going to get these young guys to produce is, you're going to get paid on whatever billable hours that you go through and do. And, as younger techs, these are individuals who, unlike the prior generation, they grew up taking things apart and tinkering and working on their vehicles. The next generation are typically younger people who are aspiring to be in this business because they read a magazine or they played a game that had vehicles in it. So the learning curve is that much tougher for them. But here we are as an industry. They come out of trade school and we're saying, okay, well, we're going to put you on flat rate and this is what you're going to pay. And we expect you to hit 40 billable hours this week. And that's just how it is. And we're slow. Well, you don't get anything, or we give you a minimal nominal amount of money for when it's slow in the shop, which quite frankly is the owner's responsibility for filling that in. But what are we creating within our industry is what I'm concerned about when we have a flat rate pay system. And I'm annoyed sometimes because of some of the coaching programs that are out there that are saying that flat rate is the way you need to pay your employees. But we haven't even educated the shop owners on what is the definition of flat rate and how should their software, their systems, their process be done? Is it you're taking the book time and just timesing it by whatever the rate is, or are you factoring in there age, make, model, year? Are you factoring all that stuff in there before you just go into your shop and say, okay, guys, we're going on flat rate and this is the way it's going to go? I've been across too many shops and talked to too many shops where they think that flat rate is the solution to their financial problems is by essentially punishing our employees by going through and putting them through this process when the owners and the managers haven't been educated and hadn't taught themselves how to properly implement a performance-based program where not only is it the book time, but they're factoring in a realistic time on top of the manufacturer's guideline, which we all know is all crap. But we're going through and adding time for that year, make, model, rusty vehicle. And when you start doing interviews with technicians, I've listened to this podcast so many times. My challenge is when I listen to some of these podcasts and they talk about I can't find technicians, you listen to a lot of the sharp business owners, and they're talking about alternative pay programs. And I think that's where the industry needs to go. I don't think the OEMs are really going to change, but some of the dealers are now taking diagnostic techs off of flat rate. They're taking their most valuable techs off of flat rate. and implementing salary bonus programs, even net profit-based programs, profit-sharing programs. So even the OEMs are starting to change this. So why are we in the aftermarket still chasing down a flat rate pay program? If I was a young tech, I'd never get in this business. So as a young technician, I come into this shop, especially an aftermarket shop. I get it at Honda. I'm going to work on the same make, same model every day, day in and day out. I'm going to do brake, steering, suspension. The process could sort of work. But I come into this aftermarket repair shop and you give me a Toyota. Let's just call it a basic service on a Toyota. And then you give me a Volvo and then a BMW and then maybe an F-Series pickup truck. And then you expect me to make the times on all these as I'm trying to learn and grow. And even if I am been in the industry for a while and I have some experience, every time we get these new makes and new models, there's always this learning curve that we're going through. And this learning curve is changing even more and more as we continue on in this industry. You listen to technicians and they talk about like, oh, it's another training course and another training course. And by the time I figure this one out and get quicker and better at it, then it's another change. The true flat rate model is not something I believe in. I believe in we pay for people's dreams, not their jobs. And I don't think flat rate really works for that. Maybe there are lots of guys out there that say, you know, I make a lot of money on flat rate. But then you dial down, what are you doing? Well, I do all the brake, steering, suspension in the shop, or I just want the gravy. I don't want the diagnostics. I don't want the ADAS stuff. Okay, so what are we breeding? We're breeding, I want general repair. I don't want to learn. I don't want to do ADAS. I don't want to do calibrations. I don't want to do that other stuff. I don't want to do diagnostics. Okay, are we trying to grow our young people? Are we trying to improve our technicians? Or are we trying to stifle them because dollars and cents are really what drives the bus? No, I always believe in you want to pay for the dream. And I've said that several times. And I think our employees need a stable base pay structure, albeit salary, hourly, is the two core ones, and put an incentive program on there with properly educated management. And I'm talking about those coaches out there and those business mentors out there slowing the bus down and not just saying you should do this type of pay structure because that's what works. I'm talking about slowing the bus down with these shop owners and saying, explain to them why an hourly plus build hours program would work in that shop, or a salary plus performance program will work in that shop. That base salary should not only just cover their costs in life, it should give them some type of better life. And the extra that they earn and they're pushing for is pushing to the dream that they want, not just making payroll, not just making mortgage payments and car payments. Our salary, our base salary should be, hey, that gets them all taken care of. And that incentive program is to get them and give them hope that they're going to move on to the next level, get to their dream. And I don't think flat rate really does that. I've hired flat rate technicians, and what's the common denominator that I've seen? Speed equals money, and speed equals find corners to cut. Now, I'm not saying that's corners. Some guys are just really good at what they do. They know not to follow all data and go through the 15 different things to take apart. They can cut through the process. Hey, that we understand is okay in the business, but there are still lots of technicians who will ethically bend the rules to achieve the time. And you know what? Is it a culture thing that it affects as well? No, do our guys who are on flat rate go home on Friday and say, hey, I made 60 billable hours, but I don't really agree with what I did this week, but I made my hours? No, is that what we're breeding within our business? I think we have a duty and an obligation for the next generation. I think we need to bring our pay programs in line with what we see in other sectors, whether industrial, heavy equipment, agricultural. I think we need to come in line with that. I was in class today and in a training class today, and we talk about professionalism. And I'm listening to Carm talk about, technology specialist. And you know what? What doesn't jive me today? A technology specialist does not get paid on flat rate. The type of person who's compensated for his time. I have a contractor who's worked at my house for a while, and he says, time and materials. No, I don't see time and materials really working as even in my business, being able to do that right away. But I do see that, we have a great salary program for our employees, and we incentivize that with a very strong billable hours program that everybody has been educated on what those billable hours mean, the ethics behind those billable hours, how they calculate it, and I empower, like my friend Glenn has always said to me, what I do know that what I do well, I empower my people to take control of their own paycheck. My job is to give you a baseline in life, plus some extra. Your job is to take you over the curb to get you to whatever your dream is. And quite frankly, I think flat rate as we move forward is going to do us more harm in this business. And it's going to be harmful if we keep on getting taught from some of the coaching, some of the trainers out there that flat rate is the way to go. You read in the Facebook group and the social media groups, flat rate's the way to go. No, get her done. And you know what? I'd like to take a look and see the quality of that workmanship. I'd like to take a look and see what type of work they're doing. I'd like to take and ask them a question to say, would you like to do 3 drivability problems in a row on this program? I'm guaranteeing the answer will probably be no. At the end of the day, I think we have to take a look at how we pay our young people, which way are we going in the next 5 to 10 years, how we're going to solve these problems. I don't think we should be following what the dealers do. And I think we have to respect that, you know what, it's going to cost money for these people to work for us. These technology specialists, these mechanical specialists that we're, classifying them as. I think it's really important that we sort of keep this in mind as we create these pay programs. And as much as shop owners are being taught gross profit dollars per hour, GP, net profit, expense margins, I think the top of the list, people and how much we pay them, but educate our owners, educate our managers first on how to build people with proper wages. Net profit and all that stuff is great for us. And it's important to have individual pay programs. As owners, it's easy to pay everybody's salary, everybody's flat rate. Why don't we just make it like a restaurant menu? What would you like, sir, when we hire them? Would you like flat rate? Would you like performance? Would you like hourly performance? I honestly really don't care. And I got an eye-opening experience this year when my employees pushed back on our goals and how we do our pay plan from last year. And at first I was stubborn and said, no, this is the way it is. And after some time to sit down and think, I said, why don't we just do what they want? And I'm not saying I give in to my employees. I looked at the numbers and I did the calculations, and we have individual pay programs, salary plus performance, some of them hourly plus performance. One individual actually preferred full flat rate, dealer style. I hunt it, I eat it, is his theory and his belief in this. We'll see at the end of the year how he's performing. But I think even in service advisors, I think service advisors should be, hey, know what program works? But sometimes not all pay programs work the same for service advisors. So it may be something where we look back at our staff, whether you have 2 people on staff or 10 people on staff, sometimes having an individual pay plan built for what the employee's dream is. And what I mean by dream, I've repeated that several times. When we bring a person on board into our company, the first question you want to find out, what do you want in your life? What's your dream? As a owner, I have my dreams. I have what I want. And as an employee, if they want a boat, they want a trip with their kid, they want to do a family trip to Florida, that's what we're paying them to try to achieve. Because once we achieve that, you're not going to be worrying about, should this guy leave my company? Is he going to go somewhere else? You build a program that pays for the dream, and they're not going to cut corners to get there because they want that dream. You're going to have a rock star crew. And sometimes we just need to think outside the box. And maybe not everybody is going to have the same pay structure in our companies, but we have to take a look and see what else we can do. But I definitely know that my original rant is about flat rate and how I'm not a big believer in it. And I stand true to this day, even after one of my prior podcasts that I did on this, is that I don't think this is the future of our industry. And I'm challenging shop owners to think outside the box and take a look and see at your staff and find out and see what can you do to help build your employee's dream. This has been Carlo Sabucco from Sills Complete Auto Care Center. Thanks for listening to my opinion.